let's move on and onto the Buy Now Sell Now show. Let's start taking all your stock related queries. Viewers, do remember that you can connect with us live on our WhatsApp number that will be flashing on the top of your screen, or you can also write to the ET Now handle on our Twitter as well as Facebook pages. So let's get started. And the first question that I have, Kunal, is coming for you. And before that, let me welcome on board Kunal Bothra as well as AK Prabhakar is also joining us in a short while from now. Very good morning, Kunal. Firstly to you. The first question that I have is coming from Sumitra Chatterjee. She says that she has bought 150 shares of Canara Bank at a price of 223 rupees. What kind of a target she should be looking out for the next 6 months?
Good morning, everyone. So on Canara Bank, I would believe depends on your time frame. If you're looking at it from a 6 months time frame, then I think maybe closer to 340, 360 could be a potential target for Canara Bank. But if your time frame is say extended to the next 2 to 3 years, then I think a strong possibility of Canara Bank coming back towards that 450 mark could also be a real possibility. So it all depends on your time frame. The shorter you are, the limited could be the upside for the stock price. But then if you can extend it or extrapolate it to 2 years or 3 years more, then I think the upside could be significantly higher from current levels as well.
All right, a very good morning to you, Kunal, as well as Mr. Prabhakar. Mr. Prabhakar, the fact that viewers did not see you on screen, but we told them that you will be joining us. We already have messages coming addressed directly only to you. So this one is coming from Mani. He's writing to us from Chennai and he wants to know if CDSL, CAMS and BSC are good buys right now.
Good morning. Now, see, these are annuity business, and in that, BSC is very attractive for me compared to CAMS or even CDSL, because CDSL, the major part of the growth has come, and from here on, I don't expect that kind of growth, which we saw during the COVID time. So, but BSC, cash is almost 50% of the balance sheet. So, whatever market cap it is quoting at, 50% is cash, and they hold some stake in CDSL. So I think the BSC is trading very attractive. So I will buy BSC rather than buying CDSL or CAMS at currently.
Okay, moving on to the next question. The question is from Pradeep, Mr. Prabhakar, and he's holding 20 shares of Galaxy Bearings at a price of 1105 rupees. Do you track this company and would you be able to help him? He wished to stay invested for the next 2 years.
No, we don't track it. In bearings, Rolex ring or Escape bearing would be a better buy. We have a coverage on Rolex ring at current point of time.
Okay, Kunal, anything on the charts that you can help him with?
No, I'll skip this. I don't track it.
Okay, Mr. Prabhakar, the fact that you spoke about Rolex rings, we have Krish who's asking a query to you. He wants to add 2 stocks for investment in his portfolio, and this 4 stocks that he's given me a choice of. One is Ingersoll Rand, Ratnamani Metal, Rolex rings, as well as Craftsman. Can I safely assume the Rolex rings is one of the counters that should be in your portfolio?
Is our top pick. Even for MNC companies, Rolex ring is a major supplier. So I think Rolex ring is a new listed company. So many people don't know it. But they make the rings inside the this thing. So I think this is one of the best pick for a long-term investor. So the other 3 stocks, Ingersoll Rand, right?
And Ratnamani Metal and Craftsman Automation.
Yeah, Craftsman Automation is one more company which we like. If I have to pick 2, Rolex ring and Craftsman.
Okay, so those are the top picks from Mr. Prabhakar. Moving on to the next question. This one is from Suresh, and Kunal, he is holding 100 shares of Tata Motors DVR from a price of 230 rupees. What are the future prospects of this particular stock?
Well, it should move in sync with how the parent company Tata Motors would probably move. Bullish on Tata Motors from a long-term play. I believe that the uptrend has restarted for Tata Motors after almost 1 year of consolidation. So if there is significant up move for Tata Motors, which I believe could probably happen in the next maybe 1 to 1.5 odd year, that could get replicated for Tata Motors DVR. From a target potential, I think 300 could be a round figure target which you can keep as a benchmark. And the more the stock goes up higher, the higher you can trail the stop losses for existing positions.
Okay, this one is coming in from Y. Koteshwara Rao. He's writing to us from Hyderabad, and he's saying, in view of present higher levels of the following stocks, he's requesting you, Kunal, for opinion for entry levels for the medium term. You can pick either of them what you want to speak on. One is Indian Hotels, the other one is Electro Green Tech, and the third one is Poonawalla Finance.
So Poonawalla FinCorp is something which I would suggest as a buy, or as a hold. If you've already bought at lower levels, then I think you should continue to hold on. The stock is confirmed multiple time frame breakouts. Specifically the breakout which happened I think at 290, 293 levels for Poonawalla FinCorp, and from there on the stock has not looked back. It's gained momentum. The results, post results reaction as well, was quite bullish for Poonawalla FinCorp. So I would maintain the bullish stance for the stock, and the other two names which you mentioned, even those names are bullish. But Poonawalla FinCorp is something which has just sprung up on the charts and is a recent breakout. That's why I think it holds a lot of prominence.
Okay, the next question is from Arvind Reddy, and Kunal, he has bought 140 shares of Anant Raj, the counter that you have been recently tracking. He entered at a price of 105. Can he hold this counter for the next 2 to 3 months, or rather he should book profits at this point in time? And also if he can share some technical view on NCC, he's holding 300 shares at an average price of 83 rupees.
So bullish on both of these names. Anantraj specifically, the sector is looking very attractive. DLF has also been one of the recommendations. Both these stocks, DLF and Anantraj, have done reasonably well, and they still look very attractive on the chart. So I don't see any reason why you should be looking to book out Anantraj Industries, unless you are looking to shift this money from Anantraj to maybe some other formidable player from the same sector, real estate pack. If so, yes, then you can look at booking out Anantraj at current levels and then maybe shifting to either DLF or Oberoi Realty. And NCC also, I think, is a stock which is retraced in the last 3 or 4 days. I think a few days back on the same show, I had highlighted that if NCC comes back towards 100 levels, that could be a good territory where you may look to average or add. So I think I would still stand by with the same opinion. The stock is at 105 levels. If it corrects towards 100 mark, that could be a good zone where you can look to average further.
All right, this one is coming in from Satya, and Satya is asking about Neyveli Lignite as well as Atul Auto. Are these good stocks fundamentally to buy at current market price, Mr. Prabhakar?
Really, Lignite came with a very good set of numbers, and I think with power demand ever increasing and Neyveli in an aggressive expansion mode, I think for a long-term investor it offers a very good, decent upside. And even Atul Auto is a stock which we like.
But with this, viewers, it's time to slip into a short break.
Welcome back. You're watching Buy Now, Sell Now on ET Now. Let's continue taking all of your stock-related queries. The next query is coming in from Rahul, all the way from Toronto. And Rahul actually asked about Poonawalla FinCorp as well. Kunal, since you already answered that one, he wants to know how the charts for TD Power looking for the short term.
So TD Power, I think trading at 204 levels, making a 52-week high. I think in fact it's a lifetime high for TD Power. So a very attractive chart over the last many years. I think 2 years, specifically 2020 lows. The stock has been consistently moving up higher. I'm not sure what's the time frame you're looking out for, but if it's more medium to long term, then I think it makes sense to buy the stock in a very staggered kind of a manner. It goes into those odd phases of consolidation, not a major price correction, but consolidation. So you can start at current levels of 200, for example, and in case if the stock, say in the next 1 or 2 months, consolidates towards 190 or 185, that could be a good level where you will look to average further.
Okay, the next question that I have, Mr. Prabhakar, is coming from Indira, and she's holding shares of Bank of India, 200 shares at a price of 92 rupees. Can she hold this counter or look to exit?
No, many of the PSU banks results are surprising. So I think PSU banks after 2010 we have not seen a rally. So it is almost 13 years now, and I think October or November 2010 many PSU banking stock made a high, but it is trading at 25% or 20% of the highest level. So, but many banks have announced dividend also. To name a few, Bank of Baroda, Canara Bank, I've seen they announce dividend. So I think things are turning around. So we are still at the starting level. So I expect a PSU banking rally in the next 1-2 years. So if you can hold for that time frame, you can hold on to it.
All right. This one is coming from Anjali, writing to us from Chandigarh. Kunal, she has 50 shares of Bajaj Finserv at a price of 1,475 rupees per share. She wants to know what's her strategy should she adopt for this particular holding. Also, she has Chennai Petro 100 shares at 250 rupees per share. Wants to know whether she can add some more.
Hold Bajaj Finserv and Chennai Petro as well. In fact, Chennai Petro you can look to even average at current levels. If you are okay with holding the stock, say for another maybe couple of years, if not more, because the stock is on the verge of a 8 or a 10-year breakout. So I think in that regards, possibly in the next 1 or 2 years, we may see a major uptrend which can kick back into the stock price. So hold is what I would recommend for both Bajaj Finserv as well as Chennai Petro.
Okay, moving on to the next query. And Mr. Prabhakar, the question is from Padma, and she's holding some cash right now and looking to invest in some of the small cap names, but for a short term. The name she has in mind is Rainbow Children Medicare, Craftsman Automation, Elecon Engineering, as well as Zensar Technologies. Any of the names you like at this point in time?
I think IT is coming out of their slumber or after the correction. So Zensar Tech is something we like at current level. So if you can hold for 6 months, it might give a very good return.
All right. This next query that I have is coming from Rajaram, writing to us from Chennai. And he's holding JK Lakshmi Cement at a price of around 771 rupees per share. Is it better to exit right now or hold for some more time? What's your take on this one, Mr. Prabhakar?
Cement stock is something very difficult. So there are a lot of news flows also. But if it is a long-term tenure, then we can suggest a hold. But if it is very short-term, now it is very difficult to comment on cement.
So on the charts, Kunal, for the short term, if the viewer is asking this query for the short term, then how does JK Lakshmi Cement look to you?
Well, after I think a rally from March lows of 650, the stock rose up to 800, and from 800 it's come back towards 700 levels, which means it's gone through both the phases of uptrend as well as a correction. But then the chart patterns from a near-term play look quite okay. I would say 650 could be a stop loss for the trade till the time the stock is trading above those levels. You can continue to hold on.
Okay, Kunal, once again coming to you. The question is from Yashri from Vadodara, and she is holding two shares. Firstly is Paradeep Phosphates from a price of 44 rupees, as well as Tata Steel. She entered just a year back at the price of 110 rupees with 400 shares. What's the outlook in both of these counters? Should she stick to both of these names? Her investment horizon is for the long term.
Yeah, I think both the charts looking attractive. Tata Steel specifically being a more formidable name, I think also holds a lot of prospect. But the only question is that Tata Steel has been a big underperformer in the last 6 months, 12 months compared to the peers from the metal pack. So maybe another couple of months of consolidation or a underperformance which can continue for Tata Steel. But yeah, from a long-term play, looks attractive. Paradeep Phosphate, the stock or the chart patterns are a bit limited. Just have less than 1 year of data for the stock price. But even in this last 8-10 months of the price history for the stock, it's recovered quite well from levels of 37.5 to I think at one point of 67, and then from 67 it's come back to 52.5, which means after a steep rally the stock has come back towards the pivot support. So attractive chart. Hopefully the stock can also break out. Then because of the paucity of data, wouldn't be able to forecast it on a long-term basis.
Okay, this one is coming in from Satya, writing from Muscat, and he has 120 shares of Gati at a price of 186 rupees per share. He wants to know whether he should average out or is it worth holding on for the period of 1 to 2 years. What's your take on this particular counter, Mr. Prabhakar? No doubt there is a lot of news flow surrounding Gati. You have delivery as well as all cargo, and Gati itself also coming out and dismissing all of those news reports which claimed that delivery was in talks to buy out Gati. So all the companies have come out and denied that particular piece of information. So on the longer term, what's your take on Gati? It's worth an investment for the longer period or a period of 1 to 2 years?
No, logistic is one sector which we are very positive on. After the results of VRL logistic and many government focus on improving Indian logistic, I think for a long-term investor you can hold. But result basis, I think VRL logistic will do very good in the medium term. So if you want to shift, then you have a choice of VRL logistic.
Okay, Mr. Prabhakar, what's your take on India Nippon Electricals? One of the viewers named Sushil Kumar from Trichy has bought shares at a price of 610 rupees with 300 shares. What's the outlook for the next 6 months? Mr. Prabhakar, any take on India Nippon Electricals?
No, I don't track the stock. Kunal
Okay.
will be better placed.
Okay, Kunal, anything on the charts?
Even I don't track it.
Okay, I'll give it a skip. Cheryl, would you like to continue?
All right, the next one that I have is coming in from Irfan. He's writing to us from Bangalore. He has 100 shares of Adani Total Gas at a price of around 682 rupees per share. Kunal, should he hold or book profit?
I think book profits. So if you want to move on to Adani group of stocks, then I think I would recommend Ambuja Cement or Adani Ports. They are much more stronger, better bets, more formidable charts. Adani Total Gas I think has fallen very sharply from I think 4,000 levels to I think at one point the stock was almost at 600, 650. So the correction has been very sharp. The recovery is very shallow as compared to the other peers, and it's always better that you exit these kind of names even if you're making 10-15% kind of a quick profit and shift on to more formidable ones.
Okay, Kunal Bishakha from Kolkata is holding 50 shares of IGL at a price of 372 rupees. At this point in time, should she book profits or rather hold on to this particular counter with an investment horizon of next 3 years?
See, for the gas stocks, there has been a dramatic change of trend, at least in the last 6 months, because I was tracking the charts for IGL, MGL, Gujarat Gas, and these stocks have confirmed breakouts on multiple time frames. Indicators have started to look a lot more positive. Now, the only concern with the stock price trend is that when the prices get into a breakout mode, these stocks they suddenly get into a pause, and that pause sometimes lasts for not just few weeks, but in fact few months. So it's more of a patience testing, breakout which has happened for these gas stocks. So I believe if you have a long-term time horizon, you should give it more time, for these stocks to eventually emerge and show signs of strong potential up move. I would suggest a hold on IGL as well as if you have any other gas stocks.
All right, on that note, actually, we'll slip into a break on this edition of Buy Now, Sell Now. When we come back, we'll continue taking all of the stock-related queries, so viewers, don't go anywhere. Welcome back. You're watching Buy Now Sell Now on ET Now, and as promised, we are back with your queries. And this one is coming in from Priscilla from Bangalore. And Kunal, she wants to know whether she can buy HEG and hold. She's already purchased 100 shares at a price of around 1,175 rupees per share.
Well, yeah, I think it's a good strategy if in case you are a high risk or you have an appetite for going with high risk trades, then I think it makes sense to hold HEG as well as graphite. Both the charts in the recent 2-3 months have started to show signs of very good recovery. These stocks have a tendency of going into swift uptrends as well as fast corrections. So you have to be ready for that, and if you're okay with it, only then it makes sense to hold on to the stock. I believe that if these chart patterns play out the way these patterns played out last time around for HEG as well as graphite, then there is a potential of even a 30 to 40% upside given a time frame of 6 months to 1 year plus. So hold is what I would recommend, specifically if you are a high risk investor.
Okay, Kunal, once again, the question is for you because it's from one of your followers. He's Mahesh from Delhi, and he says that he has bought 16 shares of Balakrishna Industries back in December 2022 at a price of 2,135 rupees. Should he continue holding this particular counter for better return or rather make a switch?
Well, I think you can continue to hold on. Balakrishna Industries, of course, is one of the more formidable names from the tire pack. Now, look at it this way, that Balakrishna Industries underperformed for a major part in this entire tire rally. And when the formidable name makes a comeback, it's bound to probably emerge back again as the leader for the entire sector. So I think other than Apollo Tires, which is also a very attractive chart, Balakrishna Industries also looks attractive. The previous highs for the stock was I think around 2,600 or slightly higher than that if I'm not wrong. Potentially the stock can at least scale past those levels like what we've seen for the other tire stocks, Seat, JK Tires as well as Apollo Tires, etc.
Okay, this one is coming in from Krishna Kumar, and Krishna Kumar has 3,500 shares of Gland Pharma, purchased at 1,465 rupees per share. He is looking to stay invested for the next 2 years, but do you think that this one is the right option? Mr. Prabhakar, do you think it makes sense to stay put with Gland Pharma right now?
It is a very good company, but it is in a very bad time. The kind of events which has taken place, and even the promoter group, which is based out of Fosun Pharma, they want to sell the stake, and the kind of write-off they have done. I think the pain can be more than 2 years. So if you are ready for that, it is a very good stock. They are one of the leaders in injectables. But I don't think in next 2 years the recovery is going to be great.
Okay, moving on, and Mr. Prabhakar, the next question is from Shankar, and he's holding 85 shares of Patanjali Foods from a price of 1345 rupees. So at this point in time, what will be the advice? Any advice to average out this particular counter? Mr. Prabhakar, this
Patanjali
question.
food.
Yeah, please go on.
Yeah, no, we don't track it, so I won't be able to come.
Okay, Kunal, anything on the charts?
Well, I think you can look to exit. I think it makes sense to shift towards the frontline FMCG names. So I think in that aspect, whether Nestle, Britannia, if you're okay with high price stocks, could be better bets. HUL has managed to make a good comeback. Dabur looks attractive. I think at 515, 520 for Dabur. That's also a stock which looks attractive. Tata Consumers, apparently the stock has remained more sideways, but I think eventually the stock would also probably try and make a comeback above that 700 50 plus mark where it's trading right now. So many better alternatives. So I would suggest to switch to them.
Okay, this one is coming in from Kunal, from RK from Delhi, and Kunal wants to know about Siemens. Though he's asking you on a news piece, what's your view on the fact that the recent transaction that happens on Siemens? Actually, rather than you, I'll take this query to Mr. Prabhakar and ask his take on Siemens and what the recent move that the company did. How does it impact the future of Siemens?
Yeah, no, there was a regulation in 2000, year 2000, where the government said, companies can come with 100% equity and they can invest. Before that, any company, MNC companies coming into India need to have an Indian partner. So, after that, many companies have entered India. For example, Hyundai came all alone without any Indian partner. So, but what has happened over a period of time? If you take from 2000, Siemens has sold more than 30 units to its parent, which is a unlisted company in India. So it has been selling, and the valuation has been very low for the listed entity. So that there is a corporate governance issue. We have come with a report, not a rated report, no unrated report. We have come highlighting these issues. So this is going to be a hangover. Once the company starts doing it, we will see it continuing. So it does. I don't think the premium which it commands as a MNC is not warranted. So we like names like ABB, Cummins, where Indian unit is getting the benefit of global R&D. So I think that is better off than buying Siemens, because this news flow will not stop. But in case the shareholders vote and Siemens management tries to give a better valuation, or if they reverse the deal, then Siemens becomes an attractive buy. It has almost corrected 20% recently, so it becomes a better buy. But this news flow is something we are not comfortable with, and they have done almost 33 or 34 transactions like this before in the last 23 years after this 2000 change in the government regulation.
All right, so that's the entire detailed outlook on Siemens by Mr. Prabhakar. But on that note, actually, let's kickstart with the rapid fire then. And the first query that I have is coming in from Ajay. Ajay has bought IEX at the price of 206 rupees per share. Kunal, 100 shares he has for the last 1 year. What should he do? Wholesale or buy some more?
Hold and average at current levels.
Okay, Mr. Prabhakar, the next question is on Dixon Technologies. Harpreet is holding the shares but at a price of 4,000 rupees. Should he continue to hold on?
I think things have turned around for Dixon. Hold.
Okay, Mr. Prabhakar, a very tough question on Suzlon Energy. 12 rupees right now is the price at what Alma actually purchased the counter. What should she do? Continue to stay put with this one or exit?
Exit.
Okay, Kunal, what's your take on MCX? Sukesh is holding 300 shares from a price of 1395 rupees. What's the short-term target for the next 15 to 30 days?
Hold, and my potential targets are closer to 1500, 1600 for MCX.
Kunal, this one is from Divya, and Divya has Balrampur Chini Metro brands in her portfolio, and she's normally making great profits in them. She wants to know, should she exit and buy Dixon Tech or RVNL or Relaxo?
Yeah, Dixon Tech could be a good bet. I'm not sure RVNL because the stock has already run up, but even Relaxo could also be a better bet.
Okay, Kunal, advice on Indian hotels. Anand is holding shares and sitting at a profit of 20%. Should he book profits or hold on?
Yeah, I think good time to book out at least 50% or 75% of the profits.
Okay, Sushil Kumar from Trichy, though we didn't have an opinion on Indian Nippon, he wanted to know about Vedanta, about 100 shares at a price of 334 rupees per share. What sort of target for the next 6 months, Kunal?
So it looks attractive for a target of at least 320, 325.
Okay, Mr. Prabhakar, any take on Vatik Babag and JK Paper? Do you like any of these counters for a fresh entry? This question is from Vishwanathan.
JK Paper we like.
All right, with that, we actually come to the end of the rapid fire as well as queries. Thank you so much, Kunal, as well as Mr. Prabhakar for joining us on the show. But now let's talk about Dreamfolks, because that one also came out with a good set of numbers. You can see the stock also seeing a good jump up, 5.8% uptick coming in for Dreamfolks on back of its earnings. We are joined by the chairperson and managing director of Dreamfolks, Ms. Libratha Kalat. Very good morning to you. Thank you so much for joining us on the show. If you look at your results, they've been pretty healthy on a year-on-year basis as well as on the quarterly basis as well. If you tell us what exactly has driven your growth for the quarter gone by, and also do you think what sort of outlook you have for FY24? You think this one is sustainable, the growth that you're seeing in FY23?
If you actually see, there are different drivers which, drive the business. So one major factor is the airport passenger traffic, which is also growing. And if we actually see that it has grown by 60% in FY23. Secondly is card issuance, which is there. So the number of card issuance which is happening. So if we actually see that there is a tremendous growth in that sector as well. And secondly is also the number of lounges which are also, increasing in terms of the airports, which were actually not with the lounges. They never had a lounge, so these airports are also now coming up with lounges. Secondly, the existing airports itself are also, increasing the space, seeing the, benefit or a revenue model for the lounges. So I think these are the major factors which are helping for the growth of the company.
Hi Libratha, this is Shrishti joining in. We have seen your margins to be in double digits. So going ahead, will the margin trajectory continue being in double digits, and what's the outlook on the same?
Even if you see our history, we have tried and maintained the margins. So the strategy is also going to be the similar way that, even in the coming years, we will try and maintain our margins in the same manner.
All right, so if you could tell us which are the major clients that the company has tied up with recently, how many Dreamfolks membership cards are you having currently? Also, if you could tell us how many downloads are you seeing on the app?
If you actually see all the top major banks, starting from HDFC, ICICI, to name the few, and the network providers like the MasterCard, MX, Diners, all of them directly work with us. So if you actually look at the model, in terms of the Dreamfolks membership card, I would say that our model is more on the credit and the debit card. So the complete program is on the debit and the credit card itself. And in terms of the app, if you're asking me, it is more on the bank app. So what we are trying to do is that we are integrating with the bank and bank app, and the banks are actually providing this benefit. So there is no separate membership, I would say, which is there in the market. However, for the global access, if you see, now this process or the business, what we do in India is more on the credit and the debit card. But for the global access, we do have the Dreamfolks membership cards. And in terms of the numbers, if you're asking me, I think we have already distributed somewhere around 2.5 million cards in distribution for our Dreamfolks membership.
Okay, Librata, what is the market share that you have in all India issued card based access to the domestic lounges, and how much is the market share for the overall lounge access volume in India?
The market share what we have is more than 90% is the market share of Dreamfolks in India. So any debit or credit card today which gets a benefit of lounge, that benefit, that program is managed by Dreamfolks. Overall, if you actually see today in most of the lounges, especially if I have to talk about Mumbai, Bangalore, or Delhi for that matter, 80% of the total lounge revenue, okay, is through Dreamfolks program. So I would say that, that is where the complete, the model or the business is all about. So yes, this is the industry, what we would say.
All right, on that note, we let you go. Librata, thank you so much for joining us on ET Now to share about the quarter gone by for Dreamfolks and what you envisage going ahead. But with that, we are also totally out of time on this edition of Buy Now Sell Now. It's a goodbye from Shrishti, myself, and the team that put the show together. Stay tuned. Markets are Noon coming up next.